Uh, and that way also I can read the. Like, if I have a feeling nobody's going to show up, but that's okay because the session will still be recorded. You know.
Yeah, so I need to be careful what I show on my screen then.
Oh, if it's easier, I can show mine. But
Yeah, it's just
if you got sensitive stuff there,
yeah.
okay, then I can do mine. That's fine.
Oh yeah, if I'd known that I would have prepared.
That's fine. That's fine. Um, bu- 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 uh, I've got like 50 million things open. I should probably close too.
I mean, I could share my screen. It's not a big deal. It's just I have to. If there's anything that I feel that is going to be sensitive, I'll just stop screen sharing for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just because that way I can, because the first part, I think we were going to go through FlutLab and
Yeah. So I'll just move
I
my
can ask you
email.
questions about what you can kind of teach me about that a little bit. Just walk me through just kind of a review of what we talked about, I guess, this morning.
Yeah. So I'm just going to move my emails across. I'm going to close down all of my
That's a good
stuff in Git Kraken. So don't need this anymore.
Make sure this link actually works.
Oh, school, that's fine. Sample.
Well, one thing I realized, of course, is that on your project, I don't think you have like authentication and stuff set up, do you?
Not yet, but we can go through that quickly.
Yeah, just because you might want to use use authenticated user.
Yeah. I've got the pages, but I just haven't gone through all of the.
Yeah, exactly. But it'll be good. It's always, I think, good material. I think that's the point of these sessions, right?
It's only a couple of clicks, right? So
yeah. You know what's weird is that the project that you shared with me, I got a notification about it. You have been invited to a project, but I can't actually see it.
Don't know.
That I can't click on it. It just sort of. Can you try maybe sharing it again, like on FlutLab? This is
FlutLab.
FlutLab this time.
Okay.
The FlutterFlow one I see now. That's fine. Hey, buddy. You're going to be able to be patient. I have to do work for an hour.
FlutLab Weaver. This one, right? And then plus share project with Joss. Hold a second. Which one is it? Flex Money Live?
Sorry. This one is Joss at Flex Money Live. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can't edit.
Same thing.
Right. There you are.
Because it definitely says that you invited. You have a new message from Mohammed. Okay, you have been invited to the project. Okay, now I click that, and what happens?
Flex Money. Hi, everyone.
Okay, now I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you send me the YouTube? Could you send me the YouTube link as well?
Yeah, sure.
Why am I flickering? Jeez. I just want to see what it's like on YouTube. There you are. That's cool. Yay, we are live.
Yeah, that's weird. So I can open it with that link you sent me, yeah?
See what it's like on YouTube. There you are. Okay, so there's a delay. Let me just see. It seems like there's a flickering here. So let me just.
That's weird. Create a branch from current state.
Why am I flickering?
I don't know.
Wait. Oh, cool.
You can actually teach me this because it's weird. So I can open that link you sent me, yeah? But then no, that's earlier. You refresh. Oh, no, I do see it now in my shared projects. Great. Perfect.
Nice.
That's really cool.
I don't know why it's flickering like a...
Let me see. Oh, wow, that's weird. Ooh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I'm just going to...
Turn off and try turning on again.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Okay. It's funny. Apparently, I've got an expensive camera as well.
The other thing is, can you by any chance share with me the Firebase as well?
Yeah. I'll do that. Okay, seems like my camera's died. Okay.
Is it still flickering?
I just can't get into 0.1. All right, let me just share my screen and then. I know if that's the camera. Okay, that's fine. Forget about it. Oh, there you are. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see. No flickering.
Okay. Oh, it's still flickering. Oh well, doesn't matter.
Oh, that's weird. It's as soon as you share your screen that it flickers.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, okay, I guess I'll be sharing my screen then. That solves that.
No, I don't think so. Let me see. Maybe because maybe this. Does that solve it?
Nope.
No, it's still flickering. Okay, well that's fuck all then. So I'm in Firebase. How do I share this with you?
If you go into users and permissions,
Authentication.
so I will share my screen.
No.
So
wait a second.
So here at the top.
Here we are. User permissions. There you are. You already are. Oh no, hold a second. No, I think. Josh, which one is it? Flex.
Money.uk.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so I've stopped flickering.
Yeah, because you stopped sharing your screen.
Bollocks. Okay.
It's okay. I'll share my screen. It's kind of good because you can walk me through FlutterFlow stuff. So I guess, yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to join us, but it's fine. I will start recording and we will.
Okay, so no more swearing.
Or maybe it's recording all the time.
Yeah, I think it has been recording.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then we'll probably have to edit this down a little bit. Okay, cool. So welcome to no one to the second week of FlutterFlow Live. This week, Dimitar is on holiday, so we are joined by my co-founder, David Pham. He, unlike me, is a coder. So we have coder and codeless here this week, and which is kind of nice. We're going to have the kind of same format that we did last week, where I'm going to be teaching David a little bit of stuff about FlutterFlow, which he's not used really much before. And then he's also going to be teaching me a bit of code stuff, if you like. And the goal today is to look at custom actions in FlutterFlow. So we're going to be trying to set up specifically two types of custom actions to do with Firebase to solve some of the things that FlutterFlow doesn't, some of the limitations of FlutterFlow, which is that right now you cannot in one action create two documents within the same collection. You can also not delete two documents within the same collection or update two documents, or two or more, I should say, for each of those in the same collection. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. We're going to be using a very basic use case, and we're really going to go through it from start to finish, including build. We've got a brand fresh, David has a brand fresh FlutterFlow project here. And we're going to go through everything from the basic kind of Firebase setup, some potential use cases we'll talk about while we go through it. We're joined also by my co-host Freedy here. And also we're going to talk a little bit, for those of you who were here last week or watched the last video, we talked a little bit about FlutLab FlutLab is a really cool online IDE if you don't want to install Android Studio Pro, which we use because David obviously is a coder and likes to have his native tools that he's used to. Me, I'm not. I'm FlutterFlow native, but there are times where I want to see what he's doing when he's writing custom code for us and stuff like that. So, David, do you want to kind of walk me through how this workflow, our workflow that we use so this, to start with, I guess, is the basic, for those, again, just to recap, FlutLab, you can import a project. You can also sync it to your GitHub. So David has synced his the GitHub repo, which is linked to the FlutterFlow project here. Then he shared this with me. And so now I can go into this project and explain to me kind of the basics of how we would use this, you would use this, and I would use this together. What are kind of some of the things that we can do? What's the normal workflow? How would this work?
Sure. So we could actually start with perhaps on how to set all of this up with and connecting FlutterFlow with FlutLab, right? And that's actually pretty quick. So if we actually go into FlutterFlow itself,
yep,
right? One of the first things that we want to do is go into the settings, right? And then what we want to do is we want to go to GitHub, exactly that section there, and we want to add the full URL link to our GitHub repo. So what we want to do is go to GitHub, obviously, and then go and create a new repository, a blank repository, and then you just put it in, just like this one, really. Anyone, I don't know if you have access to the one on my GitHub.
I can just show you.
Yeah.
I was going to use one. So let's say if I was going to do test repo, the important thing to mention here, A, make it private, don't make it public, and B, check this little option here.
If you want to add a README, and what I normally do is add a git.nor file, and that git.nor file is because I opened this up. Yeah, so if you go down,
let me just do test repo, private, add a README file, and this git.nor. What is a git.nor, David?
Git.nor file just means that whenever you have user data or user configuration files on your actual local machine when you develop, so like if you're using Visual Studio, it will add a .vs files for configuring and indexing all of your files, etc. So whenever you boot up Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, then it will just perform faster. It will actually.
So which one of these would I choose?
So there's one Visual Studio.
Okay. Okay. And what if I'm using Android Studio?
You can do a search for Android Studio. There you are. But I think that's just Android. I'm not too sure that's specific for Android Studio. So I do most of my work in Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio themselves. And the rest, obviously, if you're doing WordPress, etc., and stuff like that, then you would want to have those configuration files ignored from your Git repository, essentially, because you don't want to be sharing your configuration with someone else on their machine as well, who has possibly set up their machine slightly differently to yours, or their workflow slightly different to yours, and that's it. So those are the main ones that you want to create. And then once you have created your repository, what you want to do is go ahead and you go and get the URL for that, which is right there. Brilliant. And you just stick it in there, and you just...
I could actually do this now.
Yeah, you can do that if you wanted to. So if you went ahead and did that, what it will do, though, however, is it will... Yeah, you have to remove that.
Do you want me to remove it, or would you prefer the setup you have right now?
We can leave it as a setup as we have right now, but essentially what you would do is you would just remove that one and just add the URL that you have there. Then what you do is you push to repository. So with FlutterFlow, when you push to repository, what it will do, it will actually push to a new branch called FlutterFlow itself. Now, in the documentation for FlutterFlow, its recommendation is that it will push to a new branch called FlutterFlow. And then what you will do is you will branch off of FlutterFlow. Here you are, that's it. And you'll branch off FlutterFlow, and you will actually create your own branch called Develop, right? And then you can branch off Develop. So depending on how many team members you have.
In layman terms, what's a branch?
A branch is the version of your code that is specific to you or anyone that wants to see that particular feature. So it allows you to change code, change code for that particular, let's say, branch, let's say in a tree, given that you already have the rest of the code already from, let's say, from the trunk of the tree, right? In actual fact, these are terms that are used in Git, which is the trunk and branches. It's exactly the same thing as a tree, essentially. And
So
then
when I push the FlutterFlow, it makes a copy of my code. All of my code in my FlutterFlow project is in a part of my GitHub repo, essentially, that is the FlutterFlow one. Then I also have I can also then duplicate that to the main one. And then I can have as many ultimately these kind of copies that represent, that allow different people to work on different things without interfering with each other. Is that correct?
Exactly. So the way that FlutterFlow has suggested that you set up the branching would be from FlutterFlow branch, and you branch off of that. So you take whatever code, the latest code on FlutterFlow, whoever committed that, right? And then you take that latest version of the code and you put it into another branch called develop. That's the middle branch that you see there, right? Then whatever code that you want to make changes on the develop branch, right? You can then test it, obviously. And there's also another really good feature that I believe is currently broken in FlutterFlow at the moment, where that you can actually run your version or your particular branch of code that you want in FlutterFlow to see everything that's working or not, right? And if it's all working, what you want to do is you want to move all of that over to another branch called the main branch. And this is the main branch that you want to go and release to, let's say, Android or Google Play and iOS Play Store. Right?
So right now, obviously, I've only got one branch because
because we haven't pushed from FlutterFlow yet, right?
Yeah.
Click push from FlutterFlow into.
Well, it's also because this is a different repo. I don't know if you want.
Let's remove this repo so we can actually do it. So
it's probably faster than giving me access to the correct one.
Yeah, exactly. So let's remove this. Right.
So now I'm going to paste, as we said, that URL into the branch I literally just created.
So the other thing is, when you do that, there is one other step that you have to do, and that is to actually install FlutterFlow,
which I think I do in here. I think I've already done it, to be honest, but just to go through, it's under settings for the repo, and then in GitHub apps.
That's it.
And then you're going to look for this, I think.
Click one down. Password is Bob's your uncle.
And obviously, because I'm not secure, I have it just for all
you
my.
You just want to just do it on selected repositories, and you want to just give it to that test repository that you've just created.
Well, oops, not that one.
I think that's not the right one.
That's not the right one.
Test repo. There you are. Just save. Right.
And then
now, exactly. Now,
and I push. It should now push the code.
Exactly, and you can put your own commit message in there as well, so it can also match up with the saves that you do on FlutterFlow.
So take a second here. Cool. Okay. And
so if we go back into,
if I go look at that repo, go to personal. So I'll go back here.
Good. I think if you go,
and then
I think these are the public ones that you have at the moment.
Test.
You can just test, repo.
So if I go here, I've got two branches.
Branch, there you are, FlutterFlow. So now if you click on FlutterFlow, you should actually, there you are. You should see all the code from FlutterFlow in here, and you can actually see the commit message updated to the latest FlutterFlow output 36 seconds ago, which is great.
And so now, if I go into FlutLab, I can create a new project.
Yes, perfect.
Based on that GitHub repo.
That's right. So you just put the URL in.
Now, what are these different options, and what do I want to choose here?
Okay, so here, actually, before this, what we want to do is realistically, what we want to do is create a new branch called develop off of FlutterFlow branch, right? So how do we do this in?
Can't I just do it from because FlutLab will create that, right? If I do it here, can I just?
Fair enough. So let's go to Flutter. That's it. So that's your main branch, and the feature that we want to create, develop, with a lowercase d.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we always keep lowercase in, and your project name. So test repo. That's cool.
Cool. So now I'm going to clone that.
Yeah. So now what that will do is it won't actually create a repo yet, I don't believe.
Nope. I've only got
push that.
No, yeah, it has developed.
It has, yeah. Okay.
So we've got now a third branch, which is a clone of the other one. And so if I go into here, and then I would want to, I guess, share it with you. What's your username?
David_fam2.
Yeah.
There's someone else called David Fam, apparently.
You get that?
I should have gotten that somewhere.
David.
Yes, I do. I have that test repo, so I can view it at the moment, but I can obviously not make any changes to it. Okay, so
No,
it's okay. Doesn't matter. So
oops.
that's my project.
So test repo here. Cool.
Yeah.
So now I can see all of this stuff. And now what if I want to make changes and push them back to GitHub? What's the best if I wanted to change some code?
Okay, so this is the thing. So when you make a change to this, let's say we go to the start page 01.
Where's
down,
that?
Down, up. There you are.
Oh, here. Sorry.
Right. And in here, okay, that's cool. So yeah, you just go down. So in children on line 41, right?
41, yep.
Right, what we can actually do is inside of that, we can write text with a capital T, right? Open parentheses. And we just want to put something in speech marks, whatever text that we want in speech marks. Right. There you are. Cool. And now we've made a change, right? So now if we do a commit, right, what this will actually do is we'll actually save a local commit locally. So if once you click save, watch the top right-hand corner, right? It will say a snap created successfully.
So it's not yet here, basically.
No, because it's just created a snap.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you want to do to actually
created it here.
Oh, you've done.
Because we're doing it slightly differently than we did this morning. So it's actually because we've already got the branch. It's committing now directly to this branch.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's a funny thing with FlutLab is that it doesn't actually really have, there it is, yeah, it doesn't really have the concept of local and remote, right? Except for when you are checking out something and you're committing something, it's actually just going to save it locally, the snap.
Temporarily, right? So if I did FlutterFlow again, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm switching back branches away from the one we created. Now I'm here.
And you can see which branch that you're on by going to the bottom left, right? Yep. So that tells you which branch you're on.
And so now again, if I make that same change, I think, now it wouldn't
put different text in it this time.
New different text. Yeah. Now, if I save this change and do a commit, I don't think it will go local. It won't go remote.
No. But it shouldn't do, not from what we tested this morning.
Yeah, we'll see. So if I go back here and look at the FlutterFlow branch, that same file.
Yeah, so we line 41, there's nothing there. So
then how would I get it there?
So what we want to do here is we want to go and click on the VCS logo again, and then what we want to do is open. Oh no, we want to create a branch from current state.
Okay.
So whatever branch name that we want to do. Okay. We can do before you do that, just normally follow the standard, which is features /
Okay. Features text widget 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And create. And now what this will do is we'll take that commit that we had previously and push it up into that branch. So if we go back,
now I've got another 5th branch or something.
We should do, yes.
Let's see.
4th one.
Features, there you are. And that's going to have my change. So now the last part of this, before we get back to FlutterFlow and the kind of custom action stuff, how would I actually now merge all this back in together? Like, what would be the standard practice?
So we essentially created a branch from develop, right? Actually, no, we didn't. We created a branch off of Flutter.
Off of FlutterFlow, exactly.
But it doesn't really matter because what we want to do here with Git, you can merge and do a lot of things with different branches. You just have to make sure that there's no conflicts essentially with your code essentially, right? And if there are conflicts, you have like your Vim, or you have certain Git editors that you'll be able to resolve conflicts, right? But what we want to do here is we want to create a new pull request. Now, we can create a new pull request inside of Git itself or GitHub, or what we can do is go back to FlatLab and create a new pull request from here.
Oh, really?
So, yep. So you go here, open PR to base branch.
Okay.
So your base branch, from branch, there you are, and you want to go to your develop branch.
Okay.
Right? Because we don't want to touch the FlutterFlow branch. That FlutterFlow branch should be one direction from FlutterFlow into GitHub FlutterFlow branch.
Okay.
Yeah? So you just put your message in there. You go create. So this should essentially open up a PR, right? A pull request. There you are. Your pull request has been successful. Now you go back. Just click the back button. You're there. Now there's a pull request. No.
Where?
There you are. Up. Slow down. There you are. Pull request. Okay. Now, if you click on this pull request, right, you'll get to, as an admin or whoever, actually, we need to set up permissions, etc., to protect the repo, right? And we can say, okay, this is exactly it. So we now need to resolve a conflict, right? Now it doesn't know which one we should have, right? So it's either going to be the lines 41 to 43 or lines 44 to 46, right? And in here, we should be able to resolve the conflict by deleting
one of them, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I can actually delete all of that. Right?
That's it. And you want to also delete the button. Go down. Yeah. You want to delete those arrows. Okay, and delete the line 41 as well. There you are. And now what you can do is mark as resolve and commit and merge.
That's cool.
And you're done.
That's awesome. Okay, so now let's go back to the kind of goal, I guess, of today, which is custom actions.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do is to start with a kind of very basic custom action of if I want to create two documents in the same collection from one action. So the example that just kind of comes to me that we'll quickly go through and set up is if one user wants, we're going to do it with the example of a payment. So user A is paying, John is paying, David is paying me, or I am paying David. Basically what needs to happen in our database, we're going to have a collection of payment documents to represent that transaction that's happened. And for that, that means that we actually need two documents, because one will be David's version of the transaction, meaning he received 10 pounds or 10 euros or whatever. And the other one is going to be my copy of it, which is that I sent 10 pounds. And those documents should be different documents. They shouldn't be the same document because, well, you should own your own payment in this instance. But there are many other use cases where you would want to create two. It's just this is the one that, because it's all one that we've come across many times. So in order just to start this really quick, I'm going to just create a payments collection, give it some basic fields. I'm going to go through this as fast as possible. And essentially, so each payment will need to have a user associated with it, which is going to be a document reference, and it's going to be to the users collection. And then it's going to have, obviously, the created time. It's going to have an amount, which we're going to say is a integer. It's going to have an amount. It's an integer. And then, does it need anything else? It can have a reference. Sure. Reference. It can be a string. And then, let's just call it a message. That's easier. So a message you've sent with the payment, and it needs to also be, so this user here would be the user who is owning the payment. So we would have two versions of essentially the same document with the same amount, the same message, but each one is owned by a different person. And then it will need to have a essentially a type. And this is what's going to be different, I guess, for each user. Because for one user, this will be a credit or an payment in, payment out. So I can represent that with a string. So that's kind of just very basic in terms of this. Now, in terms of setting up some basic UX, which page am I on here, David, in your project? I'm on a start page, yeah? Hello?
I apologize. We have the start page and we have the logged in page.
Okay,
I've not set up authentication on this yet.
It's fine. So I'm just going to create a template page for like a list of users, yeah?
Yep.
So that could be what we initiate the payment from, right?
Yes.
So if I just find here a basic list of users, is there one? There must be. Create group chat card details. What's this? I can use this now. It looks fine. Yeah, it's fine. Let's use that one. Let's call it user list.
That's the chat. I think it may have other things. Yeah.
Is there really no like just basic list?
Well, I think you can filter from the top, right? The tabs list. There's list.
Oh, I know what to do. I can do it as I know what I can do here. I think. So if I just go grab here, like, why is my screen so small? Or am I just going blind? Yeah, that's better.
The screen was a bit small.
What I'm looking for here is a user card.
A user card. You can use the profile one, right? Because that's the one that
here, like this, right? Like just a basic list item. Oh fuck it, we'll just make it from scratch. Okay. It's more effort than I do.
Yeah, okay. Basic list.
Let's just make it basically from scratch. So let's just find. We're just going to put a list view. Here. And then to this list view, I'm going to add a tile. Okay. So this is basically going to be for, and we'll set up the query here to be for users collection. Query collection users, list of documents, that's fine. And then we can use this fancy exclude current user. Boom. Confirm. And then I'll just set up these tiles just to be very basic. Set this from the variable. So this will say the user's name. Display name. Cool. And then we can have, just delete this one. Bad. Just a little bit of padding.
We always add padding, right?
Anyone from the FlutterFlow team watches this, I'm not making fun of you. But it is funny that you say it in every video. And we'll add a little bit of padding here. Just a little padding. Cool. So basically what we've got here now is a basic list of users that, so you would, if you wanted to, you would start the payment from, let's say, the start page or whatever, you would come here and you would pick the user that you wanted to pay. And at that moment, what we would want to do normally is we would say, okay, so I want to create a database action, create a document in the payments collection, and I want to add fields, created time. I want to add the user, which is me, I'm paying. And then what you would run into when you try to create the second one of these. So if we then duplicate that copy action and we paste it in, you'll run into this little error, which says that you cannot create multiple payment documents in the same action. So that is the problem we're going to solve now, so that we can, with one click on this, create the payment action for myself and also for the person I'm paying.
And do we know why we cannot create multiple documents within the same action?
No. But I'm sure there's a very good reason. But it's a reason that I want to avoid. So the way we're going to do that, how do you want to do this? Do you want to try to guide me through it based on what I sent you, or
no, you can show me, because I don't know how to do this yet.
This is very much like
I'll ask questions. I'll ask silly questions. So I was actually thinking that maybe it's a limitation because of maybe an action is actually working on a background thread somewhere, and we're waiting for it's like await async, right? Async await. Maybe it's working on a background thread, and if we actually had two actions, or creating two documents, I apologize, then it may not know which one to create first, especially if one is dependent on the other, right? And that may cause an issue when it comes to databases. So, just thinking out loud, that could be a reason why that could be a reason why it doesn't allow it to.
Can you see this right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for people in the UK. Here's one I prepared earlier. Phrase from a kids' TV show. But yeah, so basically this is the end result. So this is the final product of what we are going to be creating here. It's actually shockingly kind of simple. Once you kind of understand the basic syntax, to walk through this, and then we'll go through it line by line. But I hope I didn't cut that off, but I think so. The key line here is actually what I really feel like I cut off part of my cheat sheet. I think there's maybe more that's there. Well, we'll find out, I guess. I'm wondering what those mystery lines are up there. Okay, let me go back to my actual FlutterFlow, and let's just try and here.
That's actually the same. What do you call it? The same screenshot that you sent me earlier.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to see whether.
And I think it's actually missing quite a lot, because you can see the scroll bar on the right.
But that's just because I have so many parameters.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, so let's start. So we want to give our action a name, which is, we're going to call it create payment. Exclude from compilation and include build context. I'm never quite sure what they are, to be honest. I leave them as blank.
Typo.
What?
Typo. Payment. E.
Oh.
Sorry, pedantic coding.
And then if you want to return value is if you actually want to output something. For now, I'm just going to leave this as blank, meaning that it would not give you something. The return value, well, we can actually add on to that. We can do a return value of success. Which is
so the exclude from compilation, why is that? Is that because we don't?
That's if you have something, well, what it says there, that if you think for some reason it will run as code.
Yeah.
If
you think you're smarter than FlutterFlow, basically. So I always ignore that option.
Okay. Build context, we don't text.
This is the one you told me about. This is something like it brings it in from the widgets around it or something.
Yeah. So the build context essentially is not a pointer, but it just tells where this exists inside the widget tree, essentially, right? And whereabouts to build it, and that's it. So there's nothing else more than that.
Okay, so let's get started with adding some parameters. So essentially what we're going to do here, and this is actually kind of one of the cool things about custom actions, is you can actually save a lot of time. So if you were creating when you're going through and setting things up in FlutterFlow and you're doing 2 create document actions, you're obviously inputting the timestamp and everything. Whereas in this example, especially, a lot of this stuff is going to be the same. So we need a created time, yeah, and we need an amount for the payment, yeah, we know that, and we need to have the user, which is going to be, let's say, user A, person making the payment. Actually, let's call it user pay to, meaning the user that you are paying the money to. And that's going to be a user type. And then we're going to add another parameter here, which is a user pay from, meaning who is making the payment. Users, and then we've got the amount, and then we want the message. That was the other thing we added, right? Which was a string. Now, if we look in the boilerplate code, it's going to give us the basic setup for our action, which I'm going to copy to the editor here. And so now to actually write our kind of custom function, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. We'll go through line by line. So let's skip that part. So the first parts here, this is the try await, which David is very happy that I'm using. Try await essentially means that you are catching these errors. So these are a good thing to have at the.
Yeah, you don't really want to have unhandled exception errors.
Yeah, I know, but you can tell me how to add those later.
I don't think we need it for now. So
no, so for right now, this first line, collection reference payments. What you are doing here is this essentially whichever collection you want to be creating the documents into. And then you have this magic line here, Firebase Firestore.instance.collection payments. So actually, I think this, I apologize, the value of this is actually just a local variable. So this could actually be anything I wanted. This doesn't have to match the name of your collection. This one does. You could potentially set this from a parameter. So you and then use this action to not just be for creating 2 documents in one specific collection, but you could actually create a generic create multiple documents action by setting this part here from variable.
So that's because that's a string, right? So we can just pass it in as a parameter.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. Now I will copy from my own cheat sheet, because I'm not gonna lie, this took me a long time to do the first time. So that's basically, this line is this is all essentially one line, right? So you are saying the collection reference payments 222, and so this would then have to match here. So
yeah.
But again, this is not the actual name of your collection. This is just what you're locally starting to tell Firebase what to do. Is equal to a Firebase Firestore instance.collection payments.
Yeah. So we need to declare UID, by the way, and user and all of that. I think you had that in your previous code that you just copied on. Okay, we can do that.
And I'm going to take away all this. So this right here is the basic core. So once you've set your local variable, told it which collection you want to do stuff to, then what you're going to do is this dot add, and then you've got here a parentheses, parentheses, and then curly brackets. And so this right here is what your Firestore action is. So in actuality, this same setup is also going to be true for if you wanted to do deleting documents, if you wanted to do updating documents. And the best place I've found to find this stuff is on here. If you go to this website, I know it says it's out of date, but for the basic stuff, it's definitely in date, I would say. Oops, not here. Flutterfire is like the implementation of, and if you go into the one for Cloud Firestore, I guess users documentation, you're going to find examples like this. And this is where I've essentially found, so all of these, you can see .collection. And if I search for .add, This is literally where I found this and where I copied this from. So on this kind of page, and I can share this later after we post the link to the video, but you can find essentially all of the code that you would want to use in a custom action, or at least enough to get you an understanding of how exactly it works, because you can really do anything that you can do here, such as, for instance, you can query a bunch of stuff. And you'll notice it's all of this Firestore instance is exactly what we have here, this Firebase Firestore instance. So you can use those code examples to create what you want to do. So to go back to our example, what we want to do here is to add something. If we look at the reference materials again, what it's telling us I need to do is I need to have this line, let's say. And what this line is doing is this first part here in the parentheses is your field name. So this needs to match what your Firestore is set up for. So we set up certain fields in FlutterFlow, in which I can't open now or I'll lose all this, but we set up certain stuff for our payments collection. So we had a user, we had a message, and we had an amount. So let's say I did amount to start with. So amount, then you have the semicolon. And then what you have here is you want to reference one of your parameters that you're inputting into your custom function. So that's going to be the amount. And then I believe the syntax is a comma at the end of the line. So you're going to put make sure you spell it right. A comma at the end of the line. And then you just basically, oh, by the way, a little fun side note. The reason this is great, for those who don't know, this is a comment. Anything with double lines means that the compiler is not reading this. So you can, and you should, leave notes about what you are doing, such as this is the payment amount. Cool. Then, so yeah, you've got your comma there. We're going to go to a new line, and we're going to do, we had created, I don't remember what that is.
So essentially then, this is really, you're just creating a document here, right?
Yep. Exactly. Sorry, ask me questions, by the way. I don't know if there's a...
No, this, so my understanding, right, coming from a relational database and going over to NoSQL, you're adding essentially a new row, which is essentially a document in NoSQL, right?
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of NoSQL also, though, is that because this is a document, we are not limited to the, what do you call it, the keys, which is, this is what I refer this to a key value. So you have your key on the left, which is the amount, created time, message, user, right? And then the value is what you have on the right-hand side, like the amount created time, actually, same thing, really. But what's in turquoise or green, right?
Yep.
And the left side, what's in orange is going to be the key.
Yep.
My understanding of NoSQL is that you can actually add in new keys into a document and not actually have to previously declare that.
That is 100% true. So from a Firestore perspective, let's say I wanted to make a new key because I realized that I also need a transaction ID.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I haven't set that up. I've never created a document with it. And I want that transaction ID, let's say, to just be the...
Just put a number or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just call it 001, whatever, yeah? I want it to just be a string value that's 001. This will work fine. This will not be a problem in terms of FlutterFlow. Your custom action will work fine. And
so it will save into Firestore, no problems, right? It's only when you want to read it back out, because we haven't set up
FlutterFlow that you would have an issue in that you need to tell FlutterFlow about all of your Firestore fields.
Exactly. So that's where the schema comes into play, and then you have to deploy that, right? Or whatever.
Exactly.
Or you have to synchronize that. Okay, cool.
Cool. So, and then the last one is going to be the user field, which for this first payment, essentially what we want to do is we want to use the user. So let's say who we're paying to. And that is now done. And why do I have an unexpected?
Just you need a semicolon at the end or something.
Cool. So far what we've done is this is going to create an action in FlutterFlow that we can use to create this first document. All we have to do now is literally take this, copy it again, and again, the amount's going to always be the same. The created time's the same. The message is the same. We want this variable, though, to come from a different parameter. We want it to be the user pay from.
Right. Okay.
And so now, and that's it. So we can just do check errors. Cross our fingers.
Now, what we're doing there is that we're adding 2 documents or 2
to
rows.
the same collection, exactly.
I see. Okay. That wasn't too hard.
No, it's actually ridiculously simple. I can't believe it took me 18 months to figure that out. But let's not dwell on that part. I'm going to go get some juice really quick while this compiles. I don't know if anybody's with us, but if anybody's with us and they've asked any questions, say hello.
Doing a little bio break.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you just killed the cat.
Yeah, I just sat on her. You're so small. I missed you. I'm sorry. Oh. Jesus, I hope PETA doesn't see this video. I'm going to get our Protection of Animals Society coming down my house. Look, mousy.
And I'll give them your address.
No errors. Why is this saying this function? Oh, that's why. Because we said we were going to return something, and we have not returned something.
That's okay. We can just return anything.
So if I want to return something, all I need to make sure is that, so this is all async, so it's going to do that. And then would I just put it here, right? Return.
Yeah.
And this actually is where you would have your success, right? So actually, maybe we can do that. We can do the try away, right?
Yes. Well, we actually can just do that inline. So if you take a look, you have the catch error right there.
Yeah. So I'm just going to copy and paste what I did before, so I don't mess up. So essentially, I put it like that, right?
Yes, you can do that. Try, and then that.
Yeah, exactly. So I would wrap that entire thing then in this. So yeah, try. Oh, it must be followed by, and then I can take my little
catch. There you are.
Okay, so this, just to explain what this means, the async part means that it does things sequentially. Is that right, David?
No. So what it does is it will actually, in the program or in the application, we have this concept of a running thread, right? So all the processes going off, right? When you do an async, it says that run this code on a different thread, right, if it's possible, essentially, right? And it will do that work, right, while not blocking the original thread that's going down. So you can think of on mobile, the main thread is what we call the UI thread, whatever that updates the UI. So what we don't want is to ever block the UI from, let's say, a big process. Let's say you're going to try and reach out to an API, and you want to grab that data, do some funky things with it, and then you want to process that data, then show it on the UI. What you don't want is to press a button, then have your whole application block and hang, right, while it's doing this process. What you want to do is that have your UI still be free, or your UI thread to be free. At the moment that you press that button to actually go off to the API, like what we're doing here, right? And actually the Firebase Firestore, yeah, that's a static. I believe that's going to be a static class, and that goes essentially grabs the instance and goes off to the Firebase store and grabs the information and then does some funky thing. Although what we're doing here is pretty simple, it could be something pretty heavy, right? And however long that takes, the UI thread is still going, and it's saying at that particular time, hey, go off and get me this data, process that data whenever you can, and whenever you return, just return back and just start again this process. That's all we're doing with async. We're not actually using the async really here. We're not really using with a wait, right? And what you normally would have with async is you would have a wait method, or you have the await keyword as well, right? So I don't know what it is in Dart, but I believe it is to be await. I think.
Yeah, it is await. It is await. So I believe the reason that this is run as async, because this is actually in the boilerplate code, meaning I think I can't. Well, I think I maybe could change it, but it's kind of. I believe the reason is because so that when you build it into a normal FlutterFlow action train,
Yeah.
they run async. So FlutterFlow actions run one after another.
Right. So yes, so this one will run synchronously, right? At the moment, this is exactly so. In your code between line 10 and 30, that will run synchronously.
Yeah, that's fine. But I mean that all of the other Flutter, if I put it in an action chain, then those ones run one after another for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, well, so with this try block, what I'm saying, if I understand correctly, I'm basically saying try to do this.
Yeah.
Meaning everything here, create both of these payment documents. If for some reason it does not work, this could be because maybe one of these parameters is not right or something like that, then this is what the catch is, right? So if it doesn't succeed, it's going to catch the error, right?
Exactly.
And then rather than print, which is useless because it doesn't do anything, what I can do is return, right?
Yeah.
And I can do fail to create payment. Yeah.
Yeah. So the error there should, if you do a dot after the error. Okay, never mind. I thought it was something that we could actually maybe, because the error there will actually have the error.
Oh, it'll actually be the error message. I see.
It will have the error object, right?
Yeah, it comes from here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that's the whole error object. You'll have the stack. What do you call it? The stack. Oh my god. The it will have the whole object of the error. So it includes absolutely everything from the compile and everything like that, right? In the error. So what you normally want to do, you have the in exception, the message, and everything like that. So what you normally want to do is to actually go in there and print the inner message. That would probably be more useful to us. Let me just check that on Dart because I'm on a .NET.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep going while you do that. But essentially, so this will return from my code. Essentially, if there's an error, it will return this string value, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and if not, then I put another return statement here, right? Success.
No, you don't have to. You're. Oh yes, that's right.
Because I want to have an output value from my.
That's correct. Yes. So you just need to make sure the brackets. So you want to just close the bracket on line 31.
Line 31. There we go.
Or parameters brace. That's it. There you are. Now it should be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, this is now giving me if these are not created, it will send back this. And I'm just going to make this a simple string value, to be honest. But you can get fancier there. No, it doesn't want me to do that for some reason. Why is that? Oh no, there we go. No. It wants me to have the error object, apparently. I don't think it lets me remove.
Yeah, let's leave that out of the way at the moment because yeah,
exactly. So error. So essentially, it will return that, and so that's because we said we wanted to return a string value, and so now my last little yellow is gone. I'm not going to check it for errors because I'm pretty sure I didn't mess up anything else there. And so I'm going to save this. Cool. So we've now got our first custom action. If we go back to our UI and we're imagining again, using our little bit of creativity here, this is a list of payments of people in the app, my friends list or whatever. And we wanted to create that action here, which we ran into this error where we were not able to do that. So I'm going to delete both of these. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this action to run. And it will just show up here.
Custom action. There you are.
It's a custom action. And we're going to do create payment.
Yeah. And now passing the argument.
These are obviously the parameters that we set up. So we're just going to go through and set it up. And you could also do things like, for instance, in your custom action, you could actually build this like created time to be set automatically if you wanted to and stuff like that. So these custom actions can really save you a lot of time. We're just going to pretend that this is always 10.
And it's usable throughout the whole project. So
the user pay to, the person we're paying, again, this is going to be the user from the list. So we're going to take the user record from the list view. and we're going to take their document reference, and then the user pay from, which is going to go into that second document that gets created, is obviously going to be the person making the payment. So the authenticated user in this case, user record reference. And then the message, we're just going to say, pretend that it's
hello, phobe world.
payment. Actually, no, we can do it. I know what we can do. We can do something a little bit fancier. We can do a combined text. And we can do payment from, and then we'll add a second text value. Make sure you add a space here. Second text value is going to come from the authenticated user and from their display name. Cool. And if you wanted to get really fancy, you could, yeah, I mean, you could do lots of different things. So there's payment to, payment from, but we'll just leave it like that for now. We are going to give this action output a variable name, which is, let's call it new payment. And the reason we're going to do that is because we have that return value, either payment success or payment failure. And what we want to do is actually now show that to the user. So we're going to show a snack bar here. And the value source that we're going to do is going to be from the action outputs, new payment. So that's going to be that string value we created right at the end of the custom action.
Yeah, whether it's going to be the error or...
Exactly, so that the user knows whether that actually was created successfully or not. And there you go. You now have created two documents in the same action with one. And I can't, oh no, I need to, can I actually run this, do you think? Oh no, there's no users though, are there?
Well, we can create a user quickly, right?
Yeah, we've got 4 minutes. Do you think we can do that?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, let's go in here and let's create some users. Does your thing have authentication though?
No. All right. No. Well, I'll have to set it up in Firebase, essentially. Just click that thingy.
Authentication. Oh, you have enabled authentication.
Yeah, I have enabled it. It just haven't enabled it in the Firebase console.
Oh, okay. Did you share it with me?
Yeah, I did. Weaver.
Oh, hey. Huh? Oh, that's fine. It's a client. It's not me. It's a client. It's fine. No.
Should be Weaver. It's okay. Well.
No, sorry. I'm just trying to find it. I should normally get some like request or something.
Yeah, I did make you an editor of this. Weaver 01. Yeah, you're there, editor.
What username?
Joss at flexmoney.uk, and it shows that it shows your logo and everything like that. So it's
okay.
Right.
So why do I not see it?
I don't know.
Have
you made it? There you are.
That's okay. Okay, so we need to what we need to do is
authentication. That's it. Then we just need to set up.
You added FlutterFlow already as a user, right?
Yeah, all of that. That's done. So we just need to do email, password, or phone. Doesn't really matter. Yeah.
I'm trying to think which one will be the users. Cool. Okay, so now.
Or we can add the users directly here. We don't, or we could use the Flutter.
They won't create a password for them, right?
Right.
So you have a login page, right?
No.
Come on, David. Come
on. It was a very basic application.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we can just use a template on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So go login.
This was supposed to be my sandbox for
I kind of messed up now. I can just use this one.
Yeah, and for creating custom widgets and reading JSON data, etc. in UI view.
The other thing I was going to do is no, I don't. If I go into authentication and sign-in method, here we go, and then add new provider, anonymous. Do I want that?
No, I don't think you want anonymous, do you?
No. Okay. Yeah, I guess not. Okay. So then I just what is this? It's just like a tab view or something. Column.
So I think we need to set this page up as the login page in the.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. What? Oh, there's already a button here. What's this?
It just disappeared.
It says forgotten password.
Maybe it's the coloring of the. There you are.
Let's just do this.
1 second.
Okay, and then what is this? This is like a column. So if I duplicate this, please hold. Your call is important to us. And then move. Oh, well, okay, that worked now. And then I just need something for the name so I can have a display name. Okay, and so then this button is going to be add action, authenticate. We're going to go slightly over time here, but create account, authentication provider, email field, I guess it's text field 1, password field. Okay, and then we want to set a field email, set it from variable, what is it? Email address. And then we also want to add a field for the display name, which is going to be from variable, which is state. Okay. Cool. And now, navigate action. I don't want to navigate action. Delete this. Also, I haven't deployed like any Firebase stuff, have I?
I deployed it before. Well, no, it's out of date now, though, of course.
You should not do what I just did, which is take away all the security. Just FYI. Especially if your app is
only dealing with people's payments.
Exactly. Okay, cool. So let's do we want to try the new test mode? So I should now have two collections. So what I'm going to try and do is create one user that I log in with, and then
the other user that you
I can create exactly in the CMS. I'll just create like a fake username, even though it says warning, do not do this, but that's fine. For this purpose, I guess it's okay now.
Well, this is going to go into production, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is going straight to production. So let's just, okay, so I'll create you, David at test.com. David. Oh, but he doesn't have a UI. This is why it says not to do it like this. Okay, maybe let's do it.
Okay, no, your UID is fine. You just you just create a new GUID, right? So just.
I just need to actually create the user. Why don't I just do it properly?
Okay.
We'll just wait. We'll just twiddle our thumbs. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that to load, what we can do is talk about.
We can ask the audience for questions.
Yeah, exactly. All of the 100 people that are here. I think we're alone, no?
No, I think Phobe World is with us.
Oh, hello, Phobe World. Thank you for joining us. Has this been helpful? Well, you can't talk, so I don't know. But if anybody does want to drop any questions in the chat, now is your chance to do it. You can't talk, so I don't know. There must be some better way that I can watch comments, but I guess not.
That's what I do when I'm looking at my phone. It's like I'm just looking who's in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just going into the YouTube.
What we're using here, by the way, for those of you not familiar, this is the brand new fancy test mode in FlutterFlow. The difference with run mode is that it is much faster because what it allows you to do is this instant reload button, which then means you can make changes in FlutterFlow and reload a new test mode. For instance, like this, where what I forgot to do is put the right pages.
Yep. So
as my app details pages.
You just had it there.
Here, yeah. So entry page.
You actually had it in the other page, doesn't it? It's fine.
Because this should not be the entry page.
Nope.
This should be the entry page. Then this should be the login page.
Okay. Doesn't really matter.
And then, yes, that's right. And so now, unlike with run mode where you would have to wait 5 minutes, I should now just be able to do instant reload. And
it should take 10 seconds.
It should take
less than 10 seconds, apparently.
I timed it. It was more like
28 seconds.
But it's still a lot faster than 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I think what FlutterFlow are trying to do is trying to improve the development lifecycle speed, so as it would be as in par with what it is.
I mean, that is pretty cool, actually, I have to say.
That's pretty cool.
So if I try and now make David at test.com, password 01. Email address is badly formatted.
We'll just use my real one, David at.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Mix that around.
You know what I didn't do? I didn't add a logout button. Wow, we're really demonstrating the benefits of the instant reload here because this would have taken us 15 minutes. So I now on this page that is logged in, let's just make this really quick via logout so I can go create the second user. On tap authentication. Authentication logout. Oops.
So I think they need a search.
They have a search. I just didn't use it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so now I've got a logout action. So now if I instant reload, while I'm waiting the 30 seconds for that to happen, the other thing I remember that I need to do, which I'm not actually even, I never remember if you actually need to do it, but you used to have to in the early days of FlutterFlow, you had to make your collection names like this before they would actually work, which I think you still need to do. You can delete this document. But for each of the collections you've set up, you need to have them match here what you have set up in FlutterFlow. Where's my instant reload? Okay, so now when it instant reloads from, I always forget is the problem because these sessions expire in 15 minutes. I'm so used to it taking a while that I go away and I get distracted doing something else. Oh, my cat's watching TV. Oops.
So all I need now in my background is I need that flex.
Which thing? Oh, this. Well, you need it in the right brand colors, please.
Yeah.
Woo, that works. Okay, so now we do JOS at test.com. The thing was that I think I linked this to the password.
So now as you're logged in, do we have the ability to make that payment?
Yeah, let's see.
Pay me some money.
Success.
Success. There you are. Bravo.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. We can go now. Check that.
Boom.
Yes. Boom.
Well, wow, that's amazing. I think we should quit here on a high note. we can cover more stuff like this if this was interesting. Thank you to everyone who did join or is watching the recording. If you have any questions, please leave them.
Or any comments, please leave them below so we can make.
Exactly. And we'll be back next week for some more FlutterFlow Live. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.